Hey, and welcome to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to the Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast. Today I want to talk about something that comes up again and again with my coaching clients. It's that moment after a tough day with food. Maybe you overate, maybe it turned into a binge, or maybe it was just one of those days where nothing went as planned. And now you feel guilty, maybe ashamed, maybe even a bit hopeless. If you have been there, this episode is for you. And let me say it first, clearly and loud. You are not broken. One bad day does not undo all your progress. And I repeat it, you are not broken. One bad day does not undo all your progress. Because that really is what all matters. And I hope it really sinks in your mind. And today I want to show you how to bounce back, not with punishment, but with compassion and clarity. So let's get started. So why you feel so guilty and why it's actually not even your fault. So let me start with the basics. So most people think that if they mess up their eating, the answer is to double down, skip the meals next day, punish themselves with the exercise. Often the next morning, you have to run your calories, burn your calories, all what you were overeating, and or restrict even more. But the honest truth is that the guilt cycle keeps you stuck. And because you are always repeating the same cycle, you are overeating at some point because there's nothing wrong with you. There is not a single person who is never overeating, or you think that once it's fixed, it will never happen again. Then what happens after that? Of course, you feel guilty. You are going to restrict even more again. You feel deprived and you are going to binge again. So if this sounds familiar, this isn't about lack of willpower. It's often emotional eating triggered by stress, loneliness, boredom, or even just being too hungry because of past restriction. And the goal today isn't to be perfect, it's to break that cycle. So what to do right after a bad eating day, or what you might be calling bad eating day? I like to reframe it and call it enjoyable eating day. So because it's the first thing is that you should listen how you talk to yourself and remove these kind of phrases what you might be using, like that there is a good food or bad food. I had a bad day, I had a good day. It's instead, if you like start to think it like that, okay, I had a little bit more enjoyfulness in my diet, I had more flexibility, and it's not always black and white or good or bad. And reframing those phrases, words, what you are talking when we are having that kind of that self-talk with ourselves. So when you have had that rough day with the food, and here is what I want you to do the next morning. So rule number one is there is no punishment. And it means that do not skip your breakfast. Do not do any extra cardio. Eat as normally as possible, because your body doesn't need punishment. It needs regulation. And what I mean by that, why you should, because it makes kind of logic sense that if you are trying to eat in a calorie deficit, you went over on your calories, and you think that now I have to compensate those calories because now I was way overeating. I need to especially for those women who are tracking their calories, you might see that, okay, I'm whatever your calorie goal is. I use simple example. If it's 2,000 per day and you ate for 5,000 calories, which is relatively easy to eat in a one day. And then you think that now next day that I'm able to stick with my calorie budget for a whole week. I need to restrict myself. It's a simple way to do it. I just skip the breakfast, or I do some extra cardio that I can burn a little bit more calories. And what actually happens is that you are recreating that cycle. You start it again. And the thing what I recommend is that, of course, you don't need to have maybe your depending like what kind of person you are, but you don't need to have like that full breakfast. So instead of but eat something, at least something. And usually I wouldn't start to skip anything. I wouldn't change anything for breakfast, because that is, for me, it's the most important meal. If you do like of course there are people who are doing like intermittent fasting, and that's a different story. Or you don't need to use a workout as a punishment, because those are the methods that are actually causing you feel even worse, and kind of learning your brain that there is always a reward, restriction, and then some kind of price, or what you are getting if you are able to do it. And this is for your brain so important. So if you want to move something, go for a walk, do your extra strength, or do your strength training if it's in your plan, but you don't need to do something extra. Like what I like to use it, like in these cases when it happens to me, and I never punish myself with the workout. I might still work out. I'm not telling that you shouldn't work out, but if you do, for example, strength training, I think always that for me, after a weekend, for example, if I happen to eat more than I plan to do on Sunday, and on Monday I have my strength training planned as it always is. So I think that, okay, what actually happened, I'm going to have a lot more energy during my workout. So using that extra energy to boost your workouts, and you have a lot more strength. You probably are going to see that, wow, you are able to do more reps, use heavier weights when you have that extra energy. So use it as a tool to boost your workouts, and not to use it as a punishment or do something extra to burn calories. So that is step number one, and by far the most important thing. Then step number two is hydrate and move gently. So often after overeating, you are feeling bloated or sluggish, and a big glass of water and walk can do wonders. So this is just when you are hydrating, everything is going to be so much easier, and you are still keeping your system going. And if you take just a walk, it's also for your mental health very, very beneficial. So nothing intense, just movement and hydration. And step number three, what to do right after bad eating day, is to go back to your habits, not your rules. So the difference is the key. Habits are flexible, and rules are very rigid. So focus on the habits that you ground to. So rules like protein at every meal, some fiber, like think veggies or fruits, or whole grain products, and 3 liters of water. Then 7,000 steps, or if maybe your goal is 10,000, but whatever your number is. And you don't need to be extreme. You just need to return to normal. And think it like that, think and act like nothing happened. So when you get back into those old habits, you remove that feel guilt and shame. It's just that you think that it was just one bad day, and things these are these things are happening, and there is nothing you need to do. It's just all what you need to do is to get back on your normal things. Because one day, like, think it, if you think it opposite, like if you think like that, how you are talking to yourself, like you are, because we all have, like, or at least most of the people are focusing only on those negative things. And it's not that think that what you are going to do after a good day, what you would call, if you call, like, I call it a normal day, or but if you have been using these good and bad days, and you might think that, okay, I did everything what I try to learn, like those my habits. I'm going to have protein at every meal. I had some fiber. I had a lot of water. I had my steps in. And if you had all those things the day before, what you are going to do next day? You are not going to hopefully celebrate. And now I did it for one day, and the next day I'm going to see amazing results, or I'm suddenly going to feel a lot skinnier or thinner, or whatever word you are using. But you are thinking, though, this is just a normal thing. Okay, of course, you need to celebrate also your actions at some point, or otherwise you will feel just so deprived. Because if you never celebrate your habits or actions, you will not be able to. You will feel always so much guilt and shame when you don't, because that will anyways happen. But celebrating, and what do you think that what you would do after a good day? Probably you're gonna do exactly the same thing, trying to do exactly the same thing next day, and because you know that progress is made within it's a combination of repeating same good habits over and over again. And it's nothing about being perfect. It's nothing about being able to follow every single rule what you make for yourself. It's trying to repeat those habits you have created, which are flexible. And when you are able to repeat those habits as often as possible, it's a great phrase what I was reading in I think it's my favorite book, Atomic Habits from James Clear, and you are some of your habits. So if you think that it's in a long term, let's take it in a, just don't think it over a week or over a day. Think it like let's say for over 1 year. You have these habits. If you are able to uh, repeat them, like most days, you are going to have such much more like progress than if you think like that, oh, one bad day, and then you feel guilt and shame, you repeat, you over strict, you are thinking that now what is the point, you gain some scale weight, or like most people, what happens after a good bad eating day, and then it gets you off track for several days. And in this old method, you are going to dig yourself into a deeper hole. And if you just think that, my goal is to have these habits, like instead of thinking like longer term, you can think it's over a year, over a month. I'm able to repeat and stay consistent with these habits. Like goal is not to be 100% perfect, but if you are, let's say that your goal is to get some kind of results, visible results, your goal should be somewhere around aiming for 80% consistency. And if you have, for example, I gave you now 4 examples: protein, fiber, water, and steps. If you are able to repeat these habits for the next, let's say, uh, from calendar month 80%, it means that it's around 24 days, and other 6 days you don't need to do them. But let's say that you are 80% consistent, you still have room for your cheat days not being perfect, and you are still going to see amazing results. But if that one bad day of eating is going to put you off track, that's probably the reason why you are not going to see progress. And then next time, what I wanted to talk is one trick to stay consistent all week. So this is a super practical tip what I have used myself and share with many of my clients. So because most people, you think that your calendar week it's like it's from Monday to Sunday, and then you are planning that you are on spot on from Monday to Friday or Thursday, and then from Friday, usually around afternoon when work week is finishing, you start to think that I was so good. Now I kind of need to reward myself a little bit, and this tip is that changing your nutritional week, like you might have your calendar week with your work and everything, it's from Monday to Sunday, but think your nutritional week and start that week on Friday. So why is that? Because like I said, most people are great from Monday to Thursday and then fell off on Friday and the weekend. So if that is you, uh, you mentally reset your week to start on Friday, and that changes everything. So you are less likely to fall in that all or nothing mindset on the weekend because now your week is just in the beginning. And then it also shifts how you view your cheat or treat day. So instead of saving it for Saturday when you are already tired and likely to be spiral, try planning a midweek uh, treat or cheat day, maybe Wednesday. So it gives you something to look forward to, but it releases pressure from the weekend and helps those to prevent those pinches caused by restriction. So this is just a simple way to change your thinking. And if you think that, okay, my week is starting on Friday, I'm going to be on spot on and I'm planning my kind of cheat or treat day. It's going to be then end of my week, which is starting on Friday. So you are going to plan it maybe Wednesday, maybe it's Thursday, maybe Tuesday evening. So this kind of changing your mindset is that's the key for changing your weekends. And of course, the calendar week, it's just the basic information and what we all know. And of course, it might be a bit harder to do in a practical part, but that has been such a game changer for many of my clients. So let me, and then the last thing what I want to talk is to releasing the shame and focusing on the next step. So let me say this again. You didn't fail. You are not starting over. You are just continuing. So we all overeat sometimes. We all have those emotional days. What matters the most is what you do after. So if you think like what is the difference between those people who you might be looking up or you see in social media that how the hell they can be so consistent, look amazing all year long. Like, okay, uh, first of all, you don't know what is happening there in their life. Like, you don't know. You just don't know. You don't know what chapter they are in a book. Like, if you are in chapter 2, they might be in chapter 56. And that comparison is not very fair. You don't know what is going on in some other people's, like in social media. It's like 95% or 90% of people, they share only their either wins or either if person is negative, having a negative mindset. It's you might be seeing someone sharing only complaining about something. So think it like that. It's for every person. It's a different way how they are using social media, where you are comparing yourself. And if you start to compare yourself with people in social media or your friends, you see either highlights or either only bad things. So it's there's a different ways for every person why they are using it. And if you look like most people, they share only pictures from their holiday or something, and then or when they are looking like looking their best in some photo shooting or in a beach, and best angles, lightning, and you start to look like, oh, why am I looking like this, and this one other one looks such a different. And trust me, social media is not the right place to compare yourself. And what is the only difference is then that if you think that someone who is able to maintain their weight for several years is what you do after, how you react, what is your reaction, how it's impacting your next days when it happens. Because overeating and that kind of emotional eating, it happens to everyone. It happens to everyone at some point. And the only difference is that how fast you are able to get back on track. So, quick recap. So, don't punish yourself, nourish yourself. Focus on consistent habits, not perfection. And maybe you want to start your week on Friday, not on Monday, too, if you have these kind of food rules, especially if you are struggling with weekend eating. Think that your week is starting on Friday. Friday is your new Monday. And include those midweek treat days, cheat days, enjoyable days to break that pinch cycle on a weekend. And the most important thing, be kind to yourself, and think the phrase is how you talk to yourself. Like if you find out yourself talking to yourself like that, you fucking idiot, what you did again, that there is what is wrong with you. Think it, or especially in these moments when you happen to overeat, and the next day when you feel the guilt and shame, think it what you would say to your best friend who would come to ask your advice in this situation. So would you tell to your best friend that you fucking idiot what you just did, or would you say something else? And now use that language with yourself too, what you would tell to your best friend, because that is going to be the key. That is going to change everything, the way how you are talking to yourself. And when you start to rephrase, it's not going to be easy. You will forget it. You won't be able to do it every day or every time. But if you remember this phrase, what you would tell to your best friend in this situation. So think, you are not alone in this. Food is emotional, life is chaotic, and healing your relationship with food, it takes some time. But you are doing the work. Just by listening to this episode, you are choosing progress over perfection. And if this episode helped you, I would love if you would share it with a friend or left a review. It really helps get this podcast in front of others who need it. And if you need more support, check out my coaching options from personaltrainer.com, and maybe we are able to help to break the cycle and feel strong in your body again. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.